It's always sad when somebody passes, but he was 100 years old. I mean, he had a long, fruitful life. The most interesting dynamic was in the audience, right? Was in the audience as all these former presidents took their seats with their wives and the dynamics between them. And since we were talking about Kamala Harris, we'll start with this, as we are going to get to the Trump and Obama moment, which I'll show separately. But Kamala appears to be looking back at those two, Trump and Obama, yucking it up. And she does not look happy. Okay, right? Like, here she is. She's looking forward next to Doug Emhoff. She can see the two of them talking. She turns back. It looks like a deep sigh. Looks down. She's like, what in the actual F? Look at her. Look at her. What do you think is going through that thought bubble, Jesse Kelly?
Well, I think Kamala Harris, who is, this is saying a lot, maybe the most nakedly ambitious politician I've ever seen. Her entire career has just been one endless ladder climb. Say anything, do anything, take any position on any issue in order to get the next thing. So that's the kind of person we're dealing with here. Well, what happened? The dynamics are Barack Obama was the one who engineered the coup. He was the one who engineered the coup to get Joe Biden out of the White House. And not only did he engineer the coup to get Joe Biden out of the White House, he's the one who vouched for Kamala Harris with his vast donor network, billionaire after billionaire after billionaire. He knifed Joe Biden in the ribs, shoved him out the back of the White House, and then picked up the phone and organized $1.5 billion with a B to be given to Kamala Harris for her campaign, where she proceeded to not only embarrass herself the entire time, she embarrassed him. When you vouch for somebody with a bunch of billionaires and they flame out as badly as she flames out, well, he is not going to do that again. And without Barack Obama, without Daddy Barack carrying her, Kamala Harris is never, ever, 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 ever going to be able to launch a significant presidential run again in her life. Will she run again in the 2028 primary? Of course she will, but she'll get the 1% to 2% before she has to embarrassingly drop out the exact same way she did last time before Daddy Barack brought her. Now think about all that when you think about Kamala Harris looking over her shoulder back at Barack Obama. I wouldn't put it past Trump to say a little bit too loudly, hey, how'd she work out for you? Or in the very least, if he didn't say it, I bet you Kamala Harris is thinking he said it.
That's a very interesting point I haven't heard anybody else make about how what does her future look like without the full-throated backing of Barack Obama, who definitely, you're right, has realized what an inept politician she was. Apparently had some hesitancy about her being the nominee anyway, but realized this is where this train is going, but now has lived it for firsthand, the way we all had to. So yeah, her, so much has fallen apart for Kamala Harris. She reached too high, too fast, and failed upward. Okay, but the more interesting thing is what she's seeing behind her, what those two guys are doing behind her. And before we zero in on the muckety-mucking that's happening between Obama and Trump, I want people to remember what former President Obama was saying about Trump literally in October, okay? 3 months ago. Listen here, SOT 22.
He acts so crazy, and it's become so common that people no longer take it seriously. I'm here to explain to you, just because he acts goofy does not mean his presidency wouldn't be dangerous. And you do not have to take my word for it. Lately, some of the people who know Donald Trump best have been saying in no uncertain terms that he should not be president again. The other day, General John Kelly, Donald Trump's former chief of staff, said that Trump told him he wanted his generals to be like Hitler's generals. Now, don't boo, vote.
So he wants Hitler's generals to take over, and he's genuinely dangerous. Cut to yesterday and the two of them. There they are chatting. Barack's laughing, genuinely laughing, to where like his body is shaking. Hitler's so funny, Jesse. Hitler's quite charming when you spend time with him one-on-one.
Well, you know who should be mad about that, but they won't be. But who should be mad about that are the little drones who vote Democrat every single time, because these people lie to your face all the time. None of these people think Trump is actually Hitler or a Nazi or a white supremacist. And before Donald Trump started running for president, he was a lifelong Democrat who was chumming up with these people at every single cocktail party out there. And they all loved him. They had Chuck Schumer, all these guys, they all loved him. They all talked to him. And Trump is an insanely charming and, yes, very funny individual. And they were all laughing at his jokes, and they know exactly who he is. But then when election season comes up, they know they have to ramp up the mindless drones into an endless panic that Hitler's coming back. And so they stand up and they tell people, Hitler's coming, Hitler's coming, Hitler's coming. And you have all these single women on anti-anxiety meds freaking out. Oh my gosh, the world's going to end. And then as soon as the election's over, they go yuck it up and talk about the meat lovers pizza they're going to share that night. I'd be mad if my politicians lied to me all the time like that. I get mad when the GOP lies to me, which they do routinely. So maybe Democrats should do the same.
Here is one drone who is upset about all the warnings that this was Hitler. And his takeaway is not, they said he was Hitler and it was a lie. His takeaway is, he is Hitler. And why is no one talking about how I am now going to be protected? Before I play this soundbite, the guy's name is Anand Giridharadas. He's an NYU, I think, adjunct professor at the journalism school. Watch.
What a shock.
I think people may be wrong to pick the proxy fight of Obama should not laugh at a joke. But I think we have to take seriously the emotion of feeling undefended. This administration rightly warned throughout the last year that Donald Trump represented the singular authoritarian threat to America. Have we been provided by this White House in its last weeks any practical guidance for how to live under what it claimed was fascism around the corner? That I am being warned and told that the apocalypse is near, but in actual ways, I am not defended by anybody.
I need practical guidance and I need to be defended. Can you imagine being a man and speaking like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're half a man if you vote Democrat anyway. But and I don't understand that mentality anyway, Megyn. If somebody told me that I couldn't go on the lawn, my front lawn, because there were landmines on the lawn, and then I turn around and that person was walking around the lawn drinking a cup of coffee, I would think that person is a horrific liar who perhaps didn't have my best interest at heart. Yet these people get lied to repeatedly, and all they do, maybe it's a Democrat thing, is bend over and say, thank you, sir, may I have another? I don't understand that way of thinking. I can't relate to it at all, but whatever, have a miserable life, you sick freaks.
Anand, you really shouldn't be teaching this shit to journalism students in particular, that you need the government to protect you from the Hitler who just won re-election. Like, this is the message, I guess, to the incoming class of journalists, which means we're going to have a lot more of what we have had. For those of us holding our breath for the past several months, watching the politics of this nation, we can finally exhale a bit. Work can finally be done on the major issues this country's facing. One of the most significant being our national debt. The fact is, we're broke. And that debt that we have is a house of cards that cannot be quickly dismantled. So the strategy remains the same. You might want to diversify your savings. This is why I want you to know about Birch Gold. So many things are out of our control, out of our president's control for that matter. So it can be really important to have a safe haven for your savings. Birch Gold Group can help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. And the best news is it does not cost you 1 cent out of pocket. Just text MK to 989898 to get your free info kit. Plus, right now, you will receive a free 1-ounce Silver Eagle coin for every $5,000 purchased. Protect your savings with Birch Gold. Text MK to 989898 and claim your eligibility for free silver today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.